We hear so much talk about our ascension to 5D that our 4D existence is often skipped or ignored completely. You've probably heard that 4D is a transition dimension, but it's much more than that. In this video, we'll talk a little bit more about what 4D consciousness is and what a 4D society looks like. I'll also be performing a 4D Ascension Activation to help you reap the benefits of that transition dimension on a daily basis. You actually first became aware of 4D as a child. You just didn't know to call it that. When someone told you that time flies when you're having fun, and then you witnessed that experience, that when you are doing something that you're passionate about or that you're really enjoying, the time seems to speed up. Also, when you're doing something that's really boring or you're waiting for something to happen that you're excited about, then time seems to slow down. In the 3D perspective, time is actually constant, but the 4D perspective now brings into play your perspective of the situation. It's that realization that truly defines our 4D experience as being a step into the quantum existence, where the observer is just as important as the experience itself. Because time does not even exist in the higher dimensions, the fourth dimension is the first introduction to that concept, that time is relative. Meanwhile, in the fifth dimension, time is practically non-existent. You have the ability to detect time still in the fifth dimension, but generally you spend all of your time in the now moment. And in dimensions higher than the fifth, time doesn't exist at all. It is all 100% in the now moment. And actually, time is difficult to access from those higher dimensions. Reliance on external solutions to our problems is extreme in the third dimension. We derive pleasure from materialism, we go to doctors to be healed, and we require external situations to go just so that we can enjoy life. We often say to ourselves in the third dimension, once this happens, then I'll finally be happy. In the fourth dimension, we discover something really important, that self-reliance is the key to all happiness. We discover that through gratitude practices and meditation, we can find that happiness. We learn how to heal ourselves. And we also realize that the world around us can be any which way, but we can be centered and at peace instead. And in the fifth dimension, solutions really aren't necessary because problems don't actually exist. You're so powerful when you reach the fifth dimension that you can conjure up or create anything that you need in order to experience whatever it is that you desire to experience. Along those same lines, the concept of God or Source differs greatly in each of the dimensions. In the third dimension, God is a separate being. The religions of the world saw God as something greater than them. And along those lines, they required that you went to church, which is of course another external concept, to receive the messages of God from someone else who was better at it than you. In the fourth dimension, you realize that you are Source, and instead of going to church to receive those messages, they are available from within. In the fifth dimension, you and the collective that you're a part of are Source, and so is all of existence. And this is not just a concept, it is truly a fact. When we talk about reliance on self and recognition of self as being more powerful than leaders or governance, God or church, we can extrapolate this into society at large and talk about what the 4D society looks like. And a 4D society is one that's reliant on self and your peers rather than rulers or governance. At the time of this recording, our current society is obviously becoming a 4D one. Cryptocurrencies, Uber and Lyft, and Airbnb are perfect examples. Rather than relying on government treasuries to be in charge of your money, a new decentralized currency system is gaining widespread adoption and mainstream clout. Instead of staying in large corporate hotels, more people are renting out their own rooms and properties for vacationers. Instead of using a taxi company's cars, You can now use your own car to drive people around. As we move away from hierarchy and towards self-reliance, more and more services like this will become the mainstream. Perception is different in these three dimensions as well. In the third, we rely 100% on our five senses in order to navigate this treacherous world and to survive it. And I find it fascinating that we actually have more than just the five senses at a physical level. Think about a sixth sense being the balance sense. We have liquid in our ears that helps us determine whether or not we're even with the horizon, or we're looking up, or we're looking down. This is clearly another sense that's ignored in the common knowledge of our senses. And I believe that that is on purpose, that this ties in extremely well with our third dimensional understanding as well. We tamp down the importance of our senses, of our ability to perceive, in an effort to claim that we need help from external sources, that we need that external government to help us, that we need the religious leaders to tell us where it's at. So instead of being able to rely on our own senses, we diminish them as much as possible. In the fourth dimension, you become aware of your other senses. You discover that you can see people's auras. You have psychic abilities like clairaudience or clairvoyance. Empaths are able to feel the emotions of others. And you start to recognize that synchronicities aren't just coincidences. In the fifth dimension, your perception is expanded so much that you can see and hear and feel the thoughts and emotions of everyone. You are in a constant state of telepathy in the fifth dimension. Another important category is self-awareness. In the third dimension, your self-awareness barely moves beyond your basic motivations, which are your pursuit of pleasure and your avoidance of pain. That's truly all our 3D bodies focus on, because it's the base processing and programming to survival. As I've mentioned in my Understanding Emotion series, we experience pleasure from good survival actions, and we experience pain or discomfort from poor survival choices. Like dogs, we are often trained by our response systems how to survive in this treacherous environment. In the fourth dimension, we tune in to our third eye, or our pineal gland. Through discernment, we're able to observe ourselves rather than just be ourselves. Negative experiences aren't as negative. Positive experiences can be more fully enjoyed. We become less of a slave to our desires and more in line with the greater good. Still, there are many aspects of ourselves that remain elusive. In the fifth dimension, we truly see ourselves. We see ourselves as source, and we truly see the self in all. Efforting changes as you ascend the dimensions as well. In the third, efforting equals survival. We do things that absolutely does not resonate with us because we believe we have to in order to survive. In the fourth dimension, we discover that we don't have to effort so hard on things that don't resonate with us. That instead, we can put all of our efforting energy into our passions. And we also discover that those passions will actually sustain us, so we don't have to do the things that we don't want to do in order to survive. Meanwhile, in the fifth dimension, we don't have to effort at all. We can relax and create from nothing. Thinking and feeling changes as you expand through each dimension as well. You are highly brain-centered in the third dimension. So much so that we believe that our bodies are just biological brain-carrying robots, and that we actually just are our brains and nothing more. In the fourth dimension, we realize that we're multidimensional beings, and we begin to bring information in from those other dimensions that we exist in simultaneously. We also expand into our heart. And the results of that heart-centered thinking expand ourselves so that our unconditional love actually extends beyond just our close family members. And we realize that all humans, all life, and all existence deserves our unconditional love. In the fifth dimension, we are almost completely done using our 3D brains. We now focus more on our multidimensional selves and our heart for all consciousness. Judgment is very different in the three dimensions as well. In the third dimension, we judge everyone and everything relentlessly, including ourselves. it's critical for our survival. If we decide that this being is taking negative actions that could cause our own death, then we have to judge that action and try to correct it. In the fourth dimension, we move into a state of acceptance, where we have less judgment of others and less judgment of self. But in the fifth, we have a 0-point existence, which is absolutely no judgment of anyone, a true, unconditional love of all, a recognition that we are all one and that we are all the source consciousness. At this time, I'd like to perform a 4D Ascension activation. This can help you with some of these concepts to help remove blockages and integrate them into your life. So at this time, I'd like for you to close your eyes and take a nice big deep breath. I want you to feel yourself relax in your chair. I want you to feel the temperature of the room that you're sitting in. Notice whatever sounds you can hear. Then I want you to picture yourself riding on a cloud, high above the earth, safe and comfortable. You can feel the warm sun on your face. And I'd like for you to picture yourself with your arms wide in a pose of acceptance for the unlimited energy of the universe coming to you through our star. Maybe you hear a bird or see a bird fly by on occasion. And you can see all the trees and all the fields and the cities below. And from this high perspective, you can see all these trees, cities, and people, and know that they are you, and that you are them, and that none of them are doing anything against the order of the universe. All the conspiracy theories, all of the evil corporations, the selfish government officials, they are all doing everything because they are based in this limited 3D existence. And they are fulfilling their soul contracts to create this world exactly as you wanted it as source. And I want you to take a moment to feel what it might feel like to love this world and yourself exactly as you are, with no changes necessary. You don't have to effort to make the world a better place. You don't have to effort to get through your suffering and your past traumas. You don't have to effort to create anything in the world at all. You are at peace with it exactly as it is. And think about what that might feel like. It makes me want to take a nice big deep breath and release and feel so much better and not carry the weight on my shoulders of the world. And so from this perspective, high on the cloud, where you can see the earth below and the stars and all of the planets and nebula and all the existence above you, and to feel and know all the dimensions and all the different versions of earth and your multidimensional self. To put yourself in that place, to be that incredible being. And move from the third dimension fully into the fourth, to recognize all these concepts as true for you. The way my activations work is, I'll say breath in. You'll take a nice big deep breath. You'll hold it at the top, and you'll wait for me to say the word awaken. And then you can exhale. So keep picturing yourself on that cloud. Keep feeling what it feels like to love unconditionally all of existence. To rely completely on yourself. Breath in. Awaken. Excellent. And so when you're ready to see yourself as a multidimensional being, to be excited about following your passions, to be reliant on self instead of others, to be reliant on self instead of materialism for your happiness. When you're ready for all of this, then you can open your eyes. I want to thank you so much for participating in that activation and watching this video. I have a new free activation that you can download off my website, which is similar to the one we just did, but this one is the 5th dimensional consciousness ascension. So moving further into what it feels like and opening yourself to the possibilities of the 5th dimension. This is likely to enhance your spiritual gifts, to help you break down any blockages you might have about the 5th dimension and about yourself and your worthiness to go into the 5th dimension. So I'll have the link to that in the description below, as well as a link to my class that I teach on helping us move from the 3rd to the 4th to the 5th dimension. Thanks again for watching this video. I hope that it helped you understand a little bit more about the 4th and see how close you were to the 4th already, and what things that you need to work on, what things that you want to work on. If you'd like to, please subscribe and consider watching some of these other videos. Thanks again, and I'll see you on the next one. We also do it to ourselves, which ends up pulling us down and